Welcome to Spiritual Awakening family. Have you ever had a love connection with someone so strong, you believed they could be your soulmate or even a twin flame? Did this person who you thought to be the one, arrive with a magical sense of reality, powerful psychic connections, supersexual chemistry, déjà vus, omens and even supernatural overtones? Perhaps you feel mystically connected on a deeper soul level, and yet there seems to be dangerousness about it. The passion may be unstoppable if you cross that line. Longing and passion builds as telltale signs appear that he or she must be the one. A love drama unfolds with emotional highs, crashing lows and perhaps even paranormal activity. You find yourself doing things that you have never done with other partners. You take greater risks that may be out of character for you. The love affair becomes erratic, obsessive, or you find you are unable to consummate. It is as if you and your lover are being buffeted around by unseen forces, from one exhausting drama to the next. It feels surreal and orchestrated, as if it is influenced from the beyond. Or maybe it goes like this: the dark side of Cupid. The meeting could be accidental, in an unusual place or situation for you, but somehow, something magically happens that creates an opportunity. Perhaps you sense a premonition, energetic feelings that seem to happen out of the blue. Then your eyes meet. There is a sense of familiarity, as if you already know this strange new person, perhaps from another place or time. Yet, you can't seem to place it. The locked gaze, the sensation of butterflies swirling in your stomach, the feeling of excitement, anxiety, and perhaps even danger all lurk inside you. You can barely contain the sense that something big is happening. Maybe he or she asks you something that was on your mind, just as you were going to speak it. Have we met before? You seem familiar. A few moments pass, and maybe you experience a feeling of déjà vu. Perhaps you recall a recent dream when you saw the face of your could-be lover. He or she is wearing the same color that appeared in your dream, or perhaps appears in a familiar scene. You now feel that the dream was some sort of divine precognitive foreshadowing. Your dream lover has come to life. Your senses feel heightened, more alive. Those zingy, tingly, warm, and fuzzy feelings in your body seem to be resonating with this other person. Did you just meet the one, your soulmate? Is this a sign that this person is about to enter center stage in your life? You exchange phone numbers and email. Next time you meet, you talk about things that you thought no one would ever really share with you, much less understand. You seem to have so much in common. Perhaps the person is not normally your type, yet inexplicably you share a powerful connection. The erotic fantasies begin. Somehow, they feel so much more real. Why is that? From deep inside, however, you feel a subtle hint of push-pull resistance. Your inner voice tries to check in with you, but you squash it like a bug. Your logical mind may question all this, but the lonely part of you can't stop wanting excitement, a rescue from that hopeless feeling that you'll never have true love and will always settle for less. You want to experience passion and love that you've never really known before. You fight both sides of yourself as if you've been split into two people. Confusion sets in, and you just can't stop thinking about that person. The love connection begins and Cupid's drama unfolds. A series of magical phone calls, texting, emailing, and meetings begin. Perhaps you are compelled to drive long distances or even go across the country to meet with your newfound lover-to-be. The energies of excitement build, and you can't stop thinking about him or her, and especially about when you can have more time together to really connect, touch, merge. You never felt such a powerful connection with someone. It's almost telepathic with supernatural overtones. You finish each other's sentences, buy similar things at the store, find yourself wearing the same colors, and even eating the same food when not in each other's presence, and at the same times. That first kiss sends electrical thrills that zip right down to your erogenous zones. It's almost like you've been zapped by Cupid's arrow. You kiss again, deeply. It happens so easily, so fast. Sex feels so natural and connected. You find yourself doing things you didn't do with other partners. You feel less inhibited and the creative juices flow. You take greater risks that may be out of character for you. You push away confusion and the inner red flag voice flailing to be heard because you say to yourself, yes, I'm going to follow my heart. I want passion. Now the roller coaster drama begins, and your life turns upside down. He or she makes you feel on top of the world, desired, cherished, and important. Events seem magically to unfold as though a divine script were being written that has pierced through the wall of your lonely heart. You are on a blissful high, yet it doesn't last. Something happens. At some point, where you once felt excitement and passion, you wonder why you begin to feel weak and a little drained. Maybe your partner reveals a dark side. Emotional manipulation starts to unveil. Is your partner deliberately manipulating you like an emotional vampire? Or does it just seem like it? You don't want to believe it. The emotional crashing lows begin, and you start to feel that events are unfolding out of your control. Your partner's full attention and presence seem to be out of your reach, and your life becomes an endless chase of unconsummated love. Eventually, unrequited love pangs tear at your heart as you and your lover are buffeted about in one drama after another. In time, you become an emotional wreck. Confusion sets in and it seems as though every time you get near Cupid's lover, you become weaker. You feel sucked dry of your emotions, logic, and better sense. What happened? Paranormal interference. The passages above, the dark side of Cupid and the love connection begins, are excerpted from my 2012 book, The Dark Side of Cupid, Love Affairs, the Supernatural and Energy Vampirism. I was inspired to write this book after more than 15 years of research and counseling people with anomalous trauma. It usually revolves around those who have had paranormal experiences, and other dimensional visitations such as alien abductions. I discovered inadvertently through those who had multiple alien visitation histories, that they also exhibited an unusual kind of tagging by their hyperdimensional watchers. These watchers had a means to pre-bond them to their future love partners, or to manipulate their relationships so that they would marry or meet a particular lover, often with obsessive, deep soul-connected qualities. But then something else occurred which showed blatant forms of what I call emotional and psychic vampirism. Instead of a long-lasting soulmate kind of experience, it took the form of a high-drama, supernatural connection that was endlessly being interfered with, so that a harmonious sacred love connection was hijacked or disrupted for some other purpose. One partner would be switched off psychically, emotionally, and leave the other person in a state of unrequited love, or one partner was somehow overshadowed by a third-party entity such as a reptilian or other non-human interdimensional entity that used the hosted partner as a portal for psychic and sexual energy feeding, a kind of middleman psychic vampire energy harvesting operation. It was as if an invisible predatory force was literally using the love-obsessed couple as a source of energy or entertainment. Sometimes the paranormal interference came in the form of a definite third-party entity, the presence of which was witnessed by one or both partners. For example, an alien grey, reptilian, mantis, ET, spirit, or demon of some sort. This interference could occur surrounding the relationship itself, and yet remain unseen, but leave the sense that the couple is being watched or manipulated in a perverse kind of theatrical drama. Red flags of a dark side of Cupid connection. To distinguish these kinds of love relationships from normal kinds of relationship issues, I devised a number of red flags for a dark side of Cupid relationship. Dreams of the partner before meeting them, suggesting something precognitive. Physical sensations in the solar plexus, genital, gut or other body areas, such as neck, heart, and between the shoulders. Astral sex visitations and/or telesthesia, sensing the energy body in a sexual way and very physically, as if another being were present but invisible. Strong psychic connection, even though you may not really love your partner. Powerful sexual passion and obsessive need to have sex, even in cases in which you don't love the partner or they don't love you or are abusive. Psychic responses and coincidences from either partner, like receiving a phone call or email from your partner the moment you think about cutting off the connection. A sense of emotional or physical draining. One partner becoming suddenly switched off emotionally or psychically unplugged. Feelings of being watched, or being played like puppets in some drama myth. Paranormal activity, third-party entity visits or attacks, sudden dreams, visions and thoughts as if implanted. Obsessive thoughts that are not usual for either partner. Synchronicities, omens, and a feeling of being in a magical reality. The unholy triad of the dark side of Cupid. To simplify the dynamics of these dark Cupid love affairs, I put together three main categories of characteristics of these forged connections. The unholy triad of the dark side of Cupid. If two of the three main sets of symptoms were present, then that relationship is most likely a love bite. Dark Cupid connection. The unholy triad is 1. Magical or supernatural elements. 2. Emotional highs and crashing lows or signs of energy draining. 3. Emotional manipulation and the psychopathology element. If only the magical and supernatural elements are present without the other two elements, then that relationship could very well be a true soulmate or twin flame connection. But it really is two of the three elements noted, and especially the third aspect of manipulation and psychopathology, that is the telltale sign. This relationship is being manipulated. Oftentimes this psychopathology aspect manifests as a narcissistic quality or borderline personality disorder, a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde kind of persona that can leave the love-bitten person utterly bewildered, and in unimaginable hurt and unbearable grief. If you've ever read about narcissistic abuse and the aftermath of this kind of crazy-making relationship, then you can get an idea of the utter shock and emotional devastation that this kind of manipulated relationship can bring. Some readers may pause now and rationalize that this is simply a poor relationship choice with an emotionally abusive, personality disordered person. But I assure you, it is really not that simple. These things can coexist in a dark Cupid relationship, but the true sign is the paranormal anomalies that eventually manifest during this kind of relationship. I have described these kinds of relationships in detail in my book From the Perspective of a Clairvoyant Bird's Eye View, and in easily recognizable interpersonal psychology dynamics. What I discovered was really a sign of sexual and psychic energy vampirism that is mediated through some sort of other dimensional predatory beings. It was only apparent when so many witnesses over the years came forward who had extrasensory faculties and actually saw these other dimensional beings overshadowing or lurking around them or their partner. Some could perceive cords of energy linking them and their partner and another entity such as a reptilian. Others had distinct solar plexus sensations and even grinding pain after linking up with their possessed partner. Some were perceptive enough to actually see in visions and dreams how they were being set up in magic love spells cast by a sorcerer or witch. Some love bite experiencers had these kinds of relationships several times, and seemed to be plagued by a familiar spirit, alien watcher or bloodline curse that affected them and everyone in their family. And yet I have consulted with people who do not fall into the anomalous trauma category of alien abductions or a regular paranormal experiencer kind of person, and yet had a full-blown dark Cupid love connection that hurt them in ways that defied rational explanation. One witness, who has gone public with his testimony, admitted that the love bite relationships only happened after he had published serious research on UFOs, alien contact and conspiracy topics. The power of sacred love and twin flames. I have also come to hypothesize that there are some other dimensional forces which seek to destroy true, sacred love, and especially the meeting and consummation of twin flame relationships. Sacred love, sexuality, and the alchemical transformation of male, female Shakti energies is a very powerful thing. In some cultures, in India for example, the entire reason for Jivan Mukti yogic practice is to become enlightened when one successfully unites with their twin flame Ardhanashwara. In ancient Greek culture, the Hieros Gamos is the same kind of mystical union between twin flame souls, resulting in great transformation, even gnosis and enlightenment. In Tibetan Buddhism we have Anatara Yoga Tantra. In Taoist Qigong there are alchemical sexual practices both internal and external for the purpose of greater spiritual awareness and immortality. In all of these practices true love is essential for transformation to higher consciousness. In Taoist myth as well as other myths around the world, humans were once androgynous, but then the genders were split, due to some kind of fall from grace. In the Greek myth told by Aristophanes, the split arose as a punishment from the gods because they became jealous and feared humans having too much power in their androgynous state, and so the primordial, androgynous human was split into two souls and placed into different gendered bodies. I personally believe this gender split is much more complex than the extant ancient writings tell us, and can even involve some kind of extraterrestrial genetic engineering such as is hypothesized in those Penra papers. Many of my clients have wondered why it took so long to get over a love-bite relationship, even if it was short-lived. Some think that their lover is being deliberately oppressed and manipulated by dark spiritual forces so that their true twin flame connection cannot be experienced or consummated. It is as if the couple, or one partner, is being held hostage by these predatory entities. When one partner switches off or is really being manipulated to reject the true love union, it's also known as the twin flame runner syndrome. Although I wonder if some therapists of these unusual soulmate connections really know what may be going on behind the scenes. Could these relationships be salvaged into harmonious, blissful and powerful unions? Modalities like compassionate communication and applying the relationship gender understandings of John Gray, Men Are From Mars, Women From Venus series, are immensely supportive and can help, but the real hurdle is usually getting both partners to even agree to any kind of therapy. Oftentimes one partner is too proud, fearful or downright arrogant to even admit to something strange going on and refuses to engage willingly into any kind of therapeutic work. I contend that there is much more to these kinds of paranormally influenced love connections, and we must find healing therapies that really work. In The Dark Side of Cupid I offer psychological and paranormal intervention strategies to help the broken-hearted heal from these extraordinarily painful and baffling relationships. The best strategy and protection from a dark Cupid relationship is awareness that this even exists. I believe it is true that knowledge is power, but there is something else even greater, and that is sacred love. Sacred love should be protected, nurtured and valued above all things on heaven and earth. It is truly a mystery that apparently other dimensional beings since ancient times have wanted to hijack, mimic, exploit and corrupt. This is the war of all wars. I believe once we become aware of this interference into our most intimate relationships, we do have choices. We are not powerless. About the author, I hope you like the video. Welcome to your channel. Don't forget to check out the other